When prospective students attempt to decide where to go to college, they look at the school's literature, website, ranking lists, handouts, and possibly talk with current or past students to help influence their decision. Colleges and universities are constantly ranked based on numerous categories to try and make prospective students' decisions easy. And even though a school may be ranked highly, it still may not be the perfect school for you. So, do you think Southern is the perfect school for you? If not, why is that? The students have to believe in their school just as much as the school believes in the students. I would say that most students here at Southern do not have the experience students at other colleges or universities have. With a good majority of students commuting and an overall unimpressive and lackluster involvement and spirit on campus, the experience at Southern is much different than what I wanted from my planned experience. I wanted to see if other people shared in my disappointments, and my friends Caitlin and Auburn did. When I asked them if they could change anything about their experience, what would it be? And both responded with choosing another school. Caitlin is a member of the volleyball team here and says that people just don't care, not even about sports, but also in her classes. She said she noticed people don't want to be bothered with work and have low standards for achievement. She says her classes and the overall atmosphere at Southern are different from those she experienced in high school because people don't seem to want to be here even though they chose to be here. Auburn said that Southern feels like just some school. She doesn't feel any pride or connection. It's just some place. I've heard from various groups of people, commuters and on-campus residents alike, that Southern is like a community college or a high school. Why is that? Why does Southern not truly feel like a college? The Southern website declares, with more than 100 clubs and organizations, great athletic teams, exciting campus programs like lectures by nationally recognized authors, politicians, and influential humanitarians, homecoming, spring weekend, bus trips, movie nights, dances, step show competitions, karaoke nights, poetry slams, comedy nights, and much, much more, there's always something fun and interesting happening at Southern. Like I said earlier, this sounds promising to anyone looking for the perfect school. However, I would say this quotation is over-exaggerated. Southern seems to talk the talk better than walking the walk. They don't say on their website how most events are practically empty, how it isn't common knowledge when sports games are held, and how there is an overall lack of ambition to become involved. Out of the 8,496 undergraduate students at Southern, 2,728 live on campus. With 5,768 students commuting, over half of the undergraduate community, it is difficult to get these people involved. According to the Southern website, our school has 145 clubs and organizations on campus and promises our experience to be fun and exciting. It is only fun and exciting, though, if other people try to get involved. Going to practically empty events, going to clubs with only 3 present members, and trying to accomplish charity work and raise money for those in need is not fun and exciting when very few people are doing it with you and the rest of the crowd is working against you with ignorance. We are in college now, and there shouldn't have to be any hand-holding in the process to join clubs. People should step up and take initiative to get involved. So if this is not happening at Southern, how can we change this? Being part of an athletic team or going out to support them is to some more appealing and an easier way to be involved. With 29 different sports teams here at Southern for men and women, fans and athletes can partake all year round. Another easy way to be involved is to go to shows and lectures that are held around campus. All events are aimed to get students involved and to interact with those around them. At other schools around the country, events are widely popular and schools want their students to network and communicate with one another. It shouldn't matter whether the school is private or public. The institution should try to prepare students for their futures and being productive members of society. At the end of the day, all institutions should want what's best for their students. At Wellesley College, students are told to be future world leaders prepared to give to society. Pressure is put on students to follow their passions. The average schedule for students involves 4 classes, that way they are able to excel and get involved on campus. Not only do they promote being involved on campus, they support any type of activity which matters to the individual. At Dartmouth College, students cannot complete solely academic work to fulfill their duty as students. The administration is extremely flexible to their students, so they have opportunities to explore and out-of-class activities. Dartmouth also promotes the idea of community, so students throughout the summer go on trips together meant to bond. A group of 15 or so students spend a week together in the wilderness. This trip hopes to connect people with those around them, to teach them to make the most of their experiences and relationships with others, take initiative, and to take risks as well. At Tufts University, students were told to arrive at school 2 weeks earlier before the actual academic classes began. Students were then put into groups of 15 and were given community service projects to complete at daycare, senior centers, recycling firms, and other places in need of assistance. The point of this orientation was to not only show how diverse the school is, but also to give students a chance to network with one another and bond. Although some would say comparing Southern to these prestigious private schools isn't fair, I would disagree. Just because the institutions aforementioned are pricey and have low acceptance rates doesn't mean that they can't be similar to Southern. Their underlying goal is to have successful students. Although Southern doesn't need to host extravagant trips for weeks on end or have lengthy orientation programs, they can still work on creating higher quality events and programs which will benefit the students. Those schools try to give students a more memorable and rewarding experience and want them to truly take something away from their education and involvement. You can see that they care about the students through their orientation programs and mission statements alone. Southern's orientation program was nowhere near as engaging or lengthy and lasted a total of 2 days. Some would argue that it isn't longer because people would complain. Yet these schools still have longer programs because they know the benefits exceed the complaints and pressure from students. Our administration is responding to those complaints by giving students a less than stellar or productive orientation for the sake of the students who don't want to be bothered, and that shouldn't be. The administration should be confident in its abilities and make programs that are actually beneficial and rewarding to students. Instead of trying to wow us and impress us with songs, dances, and community-building games, which frankly no one enjoys doing, the administration and group leaders should have expressed their wants and desires for us as a class. They should have shown us that they take education and the experience of learning seriously through their events and planned activities. From orientation, I got the impression that Southern didn't care, and even 6 months later, my views haven't changed. A mission statement gives insight as to what the school's goals are and sums up what the students should expect. Southern's mission statement is, Southern Connecticut State University provides exemplary graduate and undergraduate education in the liberal arts and professional disciplines. As an intentionally diverse and comprehensive university, Southern is committed to academic excellence, access, social justice, and service for the public good. Do you think Southern lives up to its mission statement? I personally want to attend a university which has values and prides itself on its students. I think it's unimaginable and counterproductive to try and force students to be involved, especially if they don't want to be. That defeats the purpose. What we need to do is change the mindset of people, the students and faculty. Now, I don't know how to solve this problem. I mean, how can one change people's mindsets? For one, I think if Southern had higher expectations and clearly outlined them in their mission statement, that could help. An effort needs to be done by both the administration and students alike. The administration needs to make some changes to be taken more seriously by students. Moments like orientation, the president's speech, homecoming, Westmore, and the pep rally should have been more played up because each one of those events pertain to every one of the students here. Students should have been expected to go and have higher expectations from the administration. Students should not have to have their hands held through the process of getting involved. Incentives should not be the only allure to participating in out-of-class activities. No one can change the fact that Southern is largely a commuter school. What we need to do is find ways for commuters and on-campus residents to mingle. Events should not solely be for people in residence halls or for people who make the trip daily. They should include everyone. If no one had classes during the community hour, that could help as well. Students would have no excuse not to get involved. Although classes are not supposed to be held during this time, some are, and those students have no choice of participating. This could be a prime opportunity for clubs to meet, students to attend events, and for the administration to contact the students. Another solution could be to implement screens of some sort in the major buildings around campus, like the student center, the dining halls, the student lounge, and library, which will play off the list of events and upcoming sports events. Since not everyone may have the chance to read their emails, this could be another way of assuring students know what is happening around campus. Better advertising of when clubs are meeting and when events are held alone I think would create a better turnout rate. Access to tickets, getting to the games, and knowing when the games are held are not easily accessible and should be more publicized. If Southern had pride in its athletes and displayed when these games were held, people would support them more, therefore gain school spirit. Also, the events are nearly empty unless the person coming to Southern is widely known. If professors and clubs encouraged attending certain events or hyped them up, I think they would be much more successful in getting a turnout rate and filling more of the seats. The issue here is not just getting more people involved, it is changing the way Southern presents itself to their students. As of right now, Southern is not portraying itself in the best light it could be since many students are not challenging themselves or getting involved. If the students in the school itself reassess some of their values, what they want to achieve, and the way they are representing themselves, I think more people would feel pride for Southern and want to get involved in out-of-class activities.